We are again meeting. We are back with the new concept of endangered and endemic species and species conservation and management. So welcome back. I'm Professor Urus Ilyas, working in Department of Wildlife Sciences as a professor and teaching master students as well as undergraduate students in environmental studies. We know this course is made for the sixth semester of AMU student to study the environment education and the conservation. We have already done with the environmental awareness course in our earlier semester. So today we'll be dealing with the threat to biodiversity. What is biodiversity? By now you must have understand what is biodiversity. It's not just about rare animal. It's the full spectrum of life, including gene, species, and ecosystem. Healthy ecosystem depends on biodiversity of essential services like carbon storage, water purification, and crop pollination. The loss of biodiversity puts food system, economic development, and climate regulation at risk. Thus, conserving biodiversity is a fundamental of sustainable development. So, biodiversity include the genetic species and ecosystem diversity, provide ecosystem services like pollination, water purification, soil fertility, essential for resilience, climate regulation, and food security. Global biodiversity supports human health, culture, and livelihood, and biodiversity loss undermines sustainability and development goals. Overview of the major threat. What are the major threat for the biodiversity? Five major threats often surprise as hippo, habitat destruction, invasive species pollution, overexploitation. So you will remember hippo, habitat destruction, invasive species, pollution, population, and overexploitation have been constantly identified by the scientists as the leading driver of biodiversity loss. Many of these threats interact, compounding these effects. For example, climate change can worsen the impact of habitat loss and make ecosystem more vulnerable to invasive species. Overview of major threats: habitat loss and fragmentation, or exploitation of species, hunting, fishing, trade, invasive alien species displacing native organism, pollution, air, water, soil, and chemical contamination, climate changes, temperature, rainfall, shift, extreme events. In Himalayas, I don't know how many of you been to Himalayas for the trekking or to see the places. We have seen lots of coniferous trees, pine trees. These pine trees were planted during the British period, during the Second World War, to provide the timber and coal to the British colonies. Those pine were not native to the area, but they are so successful that they are replacing the native species. Trees are not bad, but pine is bad for the Himalayan ecosystem because pine needles contain the resin. This is coniferous tree and they contain the resin, and when they fall on the ground they make the soil very acidic in nature. When the soil is acidic in nature, when they increase the acidity, what will happen? Nothing will grow. So you might have noticed the pine forest have no underground vegetation except grasses, small grasses. No vegetation. So no vegetation means no animal because nothing is there to feed upon. So these are the invasive alien species. They are not good. So habitat loss and fragmentation. Habitat loss is the most severe and widespread threat. Why? It reduces available space for species, leading to population decline and extinction. Fragmentation also cuts off migration routes and breeding areas. In India, roads construction through forests like those in Kaziranga and Western Ghats has isolated wildlife population, increasing their extinction risk. Habitat loss and fragmentation caused by deforestation, agriculture, minimum urbanization. Breaks up continuous habitat into isolated passive. Picture itself is showing a road passing through a forest. We need the road, but this is not the way to make the road. We could have made the overpass so that animal movement would have been easier. Now, animal will be scared crossing the road because anytime any vehicle can hit the animal, and there are lots of road accidents of the animals. That railway track is passing through. What it is doing? It is breaking. It is dividing one patch into two, and because of that there is less connectivity between two patch, and this is called fragmentation. Big patch into the small patches. What will happen? The animal will confine to its area and not much is available. Okay, I have already explained this concept. What is fragmentation? Why fragmentation is not good? So there should be connectivity between the patches. If instead of the roads, if we could have the overpass, overbridge passing through the forest, would have been better. Reduce habitat quality and carrying capacity, prevents gene flow, increase in breeding. If there are fragmented patches, there will be reduce in the gene flow, and that will lead to the increase in inbreeding. Inbreeding is not good. For example, Western Ghat fragmentation impacting the amphibians. And Western Ghats is having lots of amphibian species. Before we discovered some, we already lose some. So it is very rich, but because of this fragmentation, this development, the species are suffering, especially the small animals are suffering a lot. Or exploitation of resources. Species like the Indian pangolin, musk deer, and red sandalwood have suffered sharp decline due to over-harvesting. Over-exploitation can collapse entire population and disrupt ecological balance. When apex predator or keystone species are removed, it can cause cascading effect throughout the food web. Combating this requires enforcement, community involvement, and demand reduction. Overexploitation of resources include poaching, overfishing, logging, unsustainable harvesting. Depletes population faster than they can reproduce. Iconic victim: rhinos, pangolin, sharks, hardwood trees. So they are the victim. Rhinos has been killed for the tuft of the hair. You can call it horns of the rhino. They are excellent medicine. The rhino's horns are used in the medicine. Many Chinese medicines are using. So pangolin oil. Pangolin is an animal with lots of scales. So their scales and oil, they are being burnt live to extract the oil. Cruelty to the animal. And that animal has got very important medicinal value. Sharks oil. So these are the species which are suffering a lot because of the illegal poaching. For so that matter, tiger is being poached, illegally poached because of its skin, because of the its every part including the urine is important for the medicine. Reduce trophic balance and ecosystem stability. Alien species, invasive alien species. Invasive alien species are a silent threat. Many were introduced for ornamental agriculture or accidental reason. Species like lantana camara spread rapidly in Indian forests, replacing native shrubs and reducing habitat quality for species like butterflies and birds. Controlling invasive requires early detection, mechanical removal, and public awareness. So, invasive alien species, non native species that harm native biodiversity, outcompete prey on, or bring disease to native species. For example, lantana camera, parthenium, water hyacinth. Invasive alien species are hard to remove once established because they do well. Our species take time to grow, but invasive alien species, they get the favorable environment and they spread like anything. Say, as the um, lantana camera, parthenium. In monsoon, you will see favorable environment, and you will see in North India parthenium everywhere. This is the bangur. This is the fish which eat up the small fishes, and their population increases very fast. So these are the threat to the environment. Pollution and biodiversity. Pollution is something we need to discuss. What we are eating the vegetables, we are feeding, we are having the food, and that food which we are having is all polluted. Why? Because of the pesticides. We want to save the crop, and for that we are using pesticides. But what is happening actually in majority of the places? Instead of using the required quantity, because of the panicky to safeguard the crop, we are using the 3 times, 4 times more pesticides. And those pesticides polluting, not only polluting the crop but also polluting the soil, seeping inside and polluting the water also. And those pesticides is being absorbed by the crop, and that crop we are eating. So it is also affecting our system, polluting our system. We are not eating anything pure. So pollution affects biodiversity both directly and indirectly. Chemical runoff kills aquatic organisms and create dead zones. Air pollution in cities harm lichens and reduces bird diversity. Plastic pollution, especially microplastic, is now found in birds, fish, and even human bodies. Pollution control and better waste management are key to halting biodiversity degradation. I remember one thing in my childhood. I was using the papers green and feeding to the cow, thinking that I'm making food to the cow and goat, and they are eating the paper, uh, confusing with the leaf. No, I was wrong. They eat everything. They are eating polybags, polythenes. The the garbage which you are throwing, they are eating on that. And when you do the many, we have reported many cases where the polythene, lots of polythene is there inside the stomach of the cattle. That is really bad. We are not only destroying ourselves but our cattle also by using the single use plastic. So pollution and biodiversity, pesticides, heavy metals, plastics harm soil and aquatic life. Eutrophication from agriculture runoff lead to fish kill. This is eutrophication. The picture you are seeing is the eutrophication. The water body is covered with the green vegetation, and because of that, the animals are not able to breathe. Air pollution affect lichens, birds, and amphibians. Microplastic enter food webs and bioaccumulate. Urban and industry waste degrade natural habitat. So this is the pollution and the biodiversity. Climate change, altered temperature and rainfall pattern. You can see the pattern. It is depending. So climate change is a global threat that amplifies existing pressure. Rising temperature forces species to shift their range upslope or poleward. But some, like high altitude or endemic species, have nowhere to go. Coral bleaching in Lakshadweep and Andaman water and glaciers retreat in the Himalayas are early warning sign addressing climate changes in now central to biodiversity conservation. Altered temperature and rainfall pattern shift species range, causing mismatches in food and breeding, increasing extreme events like flood, fire, drought, affects phenology, flowering migration, hibernation cycle, coral bleaching, glacier retreat threatening mountain and maintain mountain and marine life. So, because of these pollination, because of this climate change, these species are shifting, moving. They used to live at one area, now they are moving to another area. Moving is fine because they don't have suitable environment to stay. It's too hot or too cold, so they are moving ahead. But moving ahead doesn't mean the area will provide them the same food. No, there will be a difference between the quality and the quantity of the food. So these are the issues animals are facing, the plants are facing. So human wildlife conflicts are very complex. Human wildlife conflict. As human settlements and agriculture expands, wildlife is forced into close proximity with people. This often results in damage to crop and livestock, triggering retaliatory attack. In places like Uttarakhand, Kashmir, and Chhattisgarh, conflicts with elephants and leopards are rising. Solutions include early warning system, eco barrier, and community-based compensation schemes. Competition for land crops, livestock lead to conflict. Key species elephants, leopards, bears, wild boars. When elephants entered into the cropland, they simply destroy. Same with the wild boars. They dig the land, keep on digging the land and destroy the crop. Blue bull also. In UP, blue bull and wild boar are the problems. Leopards conflict with the livestock population. Leopard go nearby villages. Leopard from protected areas goes to the nearby villages and leave their cattle, goat or dog or whatever they have, because that is the rising the conflict. That is rising the conflict. Okay, causes economic loss and retaliatory killing. Now the leopard is has killed one animal. So in retaliation, what the villagers will do? They will kill the animal. Because that is a leopard has created done the economic loss to the human being. But neither it is the fault of the man nor it is the fault of the animal. It is the fault of the development. Expanding human footprints into wild area fuels conflict and requires mitigation strategies, compensation, education. Emerging threats, zoonotic disease, and biosecurity. Biodiversity, zoonotic disease, and the biosafety. Emerging diseases like COVID-19, Nipah, and Ebola have origin in human-wildlife interface. These diseases have passed from the animal to the human. The COVID-19. When biodiversity is degraded, ecosystems lose their ability to buffer pathogens. The One Health approach emphasizes the interconnectedness of human, animal, and ecosystem health, strengthening biosecurity, stopping illegal trade, and conserving ecosystem are essential to prevent future pandemics. Biodiversity loss linked to increased disease spillover. Habitat fragmentation exposes human to wildlife pathogens. Illegal wildlife trade increases biosecurity risk. COVID-19 highlighted link between nature and the health, promotes concept of One Health approach. So, cumulative and strategic efforts, it's important to understand that these threats don't act in isolation. A species already vulnerable due to habitat loss may become more susceptible to disease or climate impact. For example, forest fragmentation allows invasive species to spread more easily and also increase exposure to poachers. Integrated conservation planning is necessary to address these cumulative effect. So multiple threats often act simultaneously. Synergetic effect worsen species decline. Example, climate change plus habitat loss plus invasive species will play havoc. Fragmentation increases vulnerability to other pressure. Conservation must address combined threats, not just one. So, to conclude, protecting biodiversity is not just about saving animal or forest. It's about preserving the foundation of life. The threat we are discussed are human made, but so more the solution. If we have created the problem, we are the one who will find the solution through research, legislation, education, and grassroots action. We can reverse biodiversity loss. Let's remember, protecting biodiversity is not a luxury. It is essential for our survival and future. So, conclusion and call to action is biodiversity is essential for ecological, economic, and cultural health. Current threats are accelerating species in extinction. The more and more we'll cut the forest, more and more the species will be vulnerable. Requires policy action, community participation, and global cooperation. Education and awareness can drive behavioral changes, and conservation is not optional, it is the survival. It is now mandatory. That is why the Supreme Court wanted you to be aware about your environment, be aware about your surrounding, and help the environment to grow, help the environment to purify. So these are the references I have discussed while preparing this slide. You can go through. The most of the literature is available on internet, like MOEF site, uh, MEA sites, CBD site. They have different sites, so you can get. Just go through once. At least you understand what act, what laws, what the government is doing for you. You should know all these things. So apart from what I am teaching, you should learn. All these books are available. All these documents are available on the internet at different sites, and I have given the detail of different sites. So till then, thank you very much. We'll be meeting again soon. Enjoy the lecture. If you have any question, please ask me on my dashboard, and NPTEL dashboard. I will respond. So thank you, my dear friend. Have a nice day.